Hi everyone. So I chose to modify the lesson that deals with dyeing rice for a pre-K classroom. The child that I'm modifying the lesson for is known as Jessica, and she has a hearing impairment. Due to her hearing impairment, she wears an FM system both in the classroom and at home. A lot of the lesson that I created, I'm going to narrate for you guys rather than demonstrate. It's a lesson that involves mixing colors, identifying colors, and having the children predict what colors are going to come when they mix two different colors when they're trying to dye the rice. So, to start off the lesson, the students would need to have an understanding of their colors, their primary colors. The teacher can go over that before starting the lesson for the children. The students would start their day by coming to the morning circle area. The teacher would inform the students that they're going to be scientists today. They're going to experiment using different colors. To modify this, the teacher can have Jessica sit close to her or him so that Jessica is within close proximity of the teacher. This creates a better communication zone between the teacher and Jessica since she wears the FM system. During this time, the students would then take turns identifying different colors of different objects throughout the room. As a modification, an anchor chart can be made to document or record the children's responses to this task. The teacher can have printed out objects that are common in the classroom as well as printed out colors in order to create the anchor chart, or the teacher can draw representations for the children. After that, the teacher would then read a story. The story that I chose for this lesson is Mix It Up. And instead of the teacher reading the lesson, one of the modifications that can be done to assist Jessica with her disability is having a video played instead where someone else is reading the book out loud. And this creates a level of visual assistance as well as audio assistance. Usually what I've noticed, sometimes students struggle with seeing the text and illustrations during a read aloud. So if on the smartboard the teacher's playing the read aloud and the book is being shown and the volume is something that can be adjusted, this can help Jessica just making sure that she's able to see and also hear what's going on. While the book is being read, the students will have different tasks, identifying colors, making predictions. Next, the students would then go back to their seats. The teacher would then instruct them as to what they're going to do and what the next steps are. They are going to have to select colors that they want to mix, ask them what do they predict when they mix two colors, what do they think it's going to create. The teacher can walk around the classroom just making sure that the colors that they're using are something that the teacher has, and making sure that the students have an idea of what they're doing. A modification to this is to give Jessica cut out color circles that represent the colors of the dye that the teacher does have. This can give her a visual representation of what the task is and what colors she's working with, so the teacher doesn't have to constantly repeat it to her. The next step would be for the teacher to pour rubbing alcohol into the bags to then moisten the rice, and then invite the students to add 2 colors of food coloring into the bag, zip the bag shut, and shake the items, which is the rice in the bag. A modification for this would be to have the steps printed out visually for Jessica and place them on her desk so that she can follow the visual steps of what she needs to do. First, picking the 2 colors. Second, putting the 2 colors in the bag. Third, zipping the bag. Then shaking the bag. Finally, they'll pour the contents of the bag onto the newspapers. So these steps can be printed visually and placed on her desk so she can follow along, as well as the teacher can repeat the steps throughout this part of the lesson. After, the teacher can have the students create a Venn diagram where they identify the color that they picked on one side, the next color that they picked on the other side, and what the color created in the middle. So a modification for this is just the teacher repeating what she's requiring the children to do, and also scaffolding can be provided from the teaching assistant or the teacher's aide in the classroom. So throughout the lesson, one of the assessment tools that the teacher can use is what the child writes or records in their Venn diagram. Another form of assessment that can be used is just overall observing what the children are doing, what they're saying, encouraging higher order thinking by asking guiding questions to them throughout the lesson. Overall, from the reading this week, a hearing is very important in the classroom, and it's a great place for development of language, and that's why it's crucial to make sure that Jessica is able to function in the classroom. Hearing loss can impact both their speech and language development, so certain modifications should be made for these children that have this type of disabilities. According to the text, repeating and restating words and phrases in different ways to make sure that the child understands the importance of what the teacher is saying can definitely help. Adults in the classroom should always listen to the children, especially the ones who have these disabilities, because they're still developing their speech and language skills. So when they're having a conversation or speaking to other children or speaking to the teacher themselves, it's important that we show them interest and give them the attention, because communication is something that they probably struggle with. When the teacher needs to really observe the children, which is why I said observing is one of the ways that we assess how well Jessica is performing. When we observe the children, it helps us understand if they are lost, if they need something to be repeated, if they need more visual cues, if the teacher is talking too fast. Overall, it just helps you get a better understanding of what the child understands and what the child needs help. Also, according to the text, when a child has a difficulty hearing, they sometimes resort to reading lips, so the teacher should be able to slow down his or her speech. Do not exaggerate when they do lip movements. Teachers should take a break when they're talking and pause after each word so the child can then process what's going on. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed my lesson. Thank you.